That's the energy that Go-Go gives. So it started. All of the hustlers was coming, and they were buying bottles, and they were whining and dining the beautiful ladies. But the next Go-Go, the hustler had another group of women, but the same women were there, dancing to the same music, having the same fun. So where it started, that's not where it ended. And I personally believe it had everything to do with who they were going to see. Red Essence, Chuck Brown.
Yeah, how about that?
Reds in the Boards, whoever, Junkyard. Junkyard had all the little teeny boppers saving their lunch money to come. They loved the rhythm. It was the music.
What you're doing is definitely going to help our cause out and getting people to understand that this is deeper than just what you see and what you hear, and the culture goes way past what you think you know. We know the music is viable. The industry knows the music is viable. It was just a basic thing of actually reproducing it, where I had to take 15 people from a band, or I could take two or three people with a DJ and go in there and make a song.
You know, I first heard Go-Go back in 78. The beat was kicking and the groove was straight. The founder of this genius way to jam, Chuck Brown, yeah, that's the man. He mixed jazz with pizzazz, funky congos and slamming on the bells. Add to that, slick bass line, funky on.
People laugh at me when I say this. Along with the economic part of why Go-Go didn't make it at the time, it was all about fear. Go-Go music is Go-Go music is like a virus. When we infect you, we're not going nowhere.
Keys and online to drop your tune. You need to check out some of his cuts. He just slammed as the guys and girls would shake their butts. It started with busting loose. To back it up, I need the money just to name something. So
to your point, we need to have a place where people can go and access this information. Every music has a violent side to it that we sing. Jazz had a violent side to it back in the 20s and the 30s. You know, fighting over who's gonna play in what club. We know rock and roll is, you know, they got pits in rock and roll, they get in there and act a fool. The violence, I don't think anything to do with whether how much Go-Go has grown or continue to grow. To me, it boiled down to basic economics at the beginning. The economics of it was easier and more economical to produce hip hop. The hip hop you were producing were Go-Go tracks that we recorded. You know, I got a piece on YouTube where African Bombada spoke about it. He was speaking, he was giving a breakdown between hip hop to Go-Go to Teddy Riley's New Jack Swing sound. And as he compared it, he started off by saying, we made all the hits off of Go-Go music. You know, when you think about platinum records from hip hop like The Mic Sounds Nice by Salt and Pepper, Ola Ola by, what's the kids with the high top fade, the Kid and Play, LL Cool J, Rock the Bells. I mean, there are a multitude of records that I could go down the list and tell you that were, you know, Go-Go cuts that were very successful, but hip hop collaborated on those songs and really made them go. So it was economics. It had nothing to do with the music. How many people have you brought to DC? Or I can tell you, many people I brought to DC that went away to school at college. They bring back somebody from Philly or Jersey or wherever they're from. You take them to a Go-Go. I don't listen to that stuff. I don't listen to it. Take them in there one time. Hey, Chris, can you send me a tape, man? You know, I kind of like that right there. Promote it right, sold correctly, given the right airplay, with no politics involved, we can make butts. You know, and that's the same thing with black folks. You give us the right opportunity, give me the right platform, 9 times out of 10, I can make my money. I can go out and be an integral part of society. But when you cut a piece off, and then you try to go back and take a piece when you want it, or take a piece when you need it, slave to the rhythm. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? You use our music to your game, but you do nothing to give us anything back so that we can get a foot up and do the same thing. However, when you take and make a record that you know is a go-go song and you call it a calypso song, don't talk to me. You just now pimped our music. And we just recently, maybe a year and a half ago, we did a show in London, England, and their acceptance of it was just overwhelming. I mean, they come to the shows with their albums, their T-shirts, their own Sharpies. They are ready to party. They know the songs verbatim. They're not looking at a piece of paper to try to figure it out. They're out there screaming at what songs they want to listen to.
But you know what's interesting to me? It's how it's been used internationally, sampled, copied, compared. People have come from all over the world to learn what it's really about.
People outside the United States are more eclectic with their music. They're not so pigeonholed into what style of music they listen to. If they like it, they love it, they're gonna listen to it. Doesn't matter if it's bluegrass or hip hop or go-go or whatever. But it's been my experience from Japan to London to Amsterdam that, you know, the reception we get is so overwhelming that people just love the beat. Questlove came to our show we had at, I forget the name of this, Story Park. It's a little outdoor venue in DC off of 1st and K Street. And he was doing a set after we played. He stood on the side of the stage for the last 30 minutes of our show. And he filmed all 30 minutes of the show. And when we came off the stage, the only thing he could say was that was just amazing. It was amazing. He said he'd been waiting to see Trouble Funk all his life. And that's what he said out of his mouth. He said, I've been waiting to see Trouble Funk all my life. And I think that if you talk to a lot of artists like himself, they've heard it, they know it. True musicians know it. And when they see it, it's like, whoa, that's how you do that. Thirdly, what's on my mind? Our young black men. And the responsibility of being a young black man. And when you become an older black man, it's a lot easier to speak to the younger black man because you don't realize some of the dumb stuff you're doing when you're in that atmosphere. But when you grow and gain a knowledge of life and things you've experienced and things you would want to see another young man not have to go through to gain the same things that you have, you try to let them know that. But I think that the generation that we're dealing with now, the educational system is so broken and the judicial system is so tampered with and so polluted that a kid from an inner urban area, and you know what I mean, one like Berry Farms back in the day when we was kids where it was just gutter. It's hard for them. I don't care how much leg up they get, it's very, very hard for them to become successful.
I just moved back here from the West Coast, and Greg and Benny were playing with a lot of go-go bands, and they were saying that the horn sections out here are not really up to standard, and if I came back east again, that we could just clean up on all of this. So when I got back here, I was playing with Little Benny and the Masters, and Chuck heard us and says, I like you guys, and he said this, and this is one of the funniest things he ever said to me. He says, I'm the only one in town that's qualified to pay you. And I thought that was a pretty big statement, so I took him up on it. I was like, well, let me see how qualified you are. And that was in '89, and I played with Chuck all the way up until he passed. So that was 23 years with Chuck Brown. And I spent more time with Chuck than anybody else I ever played with.
If I may ask, my career started as a young kid. I started with a group called Sergio and the Free Soul. So much trouble on my mind. I was in 7th grade, and we were performing at the Cap Center. We were opening up for Tower Power. We were opening up for Sly and the Family Stone. We were just all over. We had a deal with Mercury Records. And I mean, I learned a lot of things, but I did not know that I was not in the pocket.
audience, man. One thing for sure, two things for certain. If that audience doesn't give you any feedback, you are not connected. You made the mention of Steve Harvey. When I heard him, he was talking about it on the radio. He said the most amazing thing to him was there were 25,000 people in the Merriweather screaming, "Wind me up, Chuck," at the same time, together, on time. And said that they didn't stop. He said it amazed me they didn't stop and they didn't sit down until he left that stage.
Man, I really have to be honest. It's Chuck. 10 years old. The things that he taught me about music and responsibility to my position sitting in the back of the stage.
Yeah.
It came with great responsibility. And I took that responsibility and the challenge with respect, that I can do this. I can satisfy the man who's paying me, and I can satisfy the rest of the guys around me. And I worked on that at home. Sometimes I would just practice with a snare and a bass drum and a hi-hat. That's discipline, because you don't have your toms to do all of the other things. Pocket, snare, hi-hat, and a bass drum. Once you learn that, and learn that that's where home is, the rest comes naturally.
When I say Little Benny, what do you say?
Cat in the hat.
Helicopter. The helicopter landed. Little Benny was probably the most powerful little man, if you want to call him a little man, only in stature only, because he was a giant.
Shoot a bit.
Oh my goodness.
Ow.
Comedian.
Never curses.
Never.
Bad, I've never heard bad curse.
I can't tell the stories on bad. Love you, Bear. There's only one. Shook up.
Marion Bird.
Misunderstood. Marion Bird is probably one of the most, and not just speak for this area, probably one of the most influential, most respected, and most glorified by right and should be persons that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing in my life. To sit down and have a conversation, to be able to sit down and have had a conversation, several conversations with them, like we having right now, and talk about whatever you want to talk about, but also to have that person be the first person to ever give you a job, ever teach you how to do an interview, ever show you anything about being in that professional world. He had so much of an effect on kids in DC. You know, I'm a product of that, you know. That incident in the hotel where he was smoking crack, to me wasn't nothing but a bump in the road. I was mad at him, I was disappointed like anybody else, but I refuse, and I don't know about anybody else, I refuse to let that be the black mark that signs his life away with me, because of all the other things that I know I'm privy to, because it made that happen.
I don't know much about the Cavaliers. I was back just one of those.
Oh, the Cold Stone Cavaliers! Oh, I thought that was my feet! I was like, we're gonna kick that ass. How about that?
I used to stay up all my girls up out of the Cavaliers. Especially if you ready for Friday.
The junkyard band commercial outside the Cavaliers, they playing the kazoos and everything. You know, when that's how they got discovered. Was off of that Cavalier commercial.
Oh man. I used to have my big brother take me
Oh
down there
my
on the
God.
bus.
Cavaliers, man.
For me, I think the classic, the smaller venues were the best for me because you have intimate settings. People were right there at the stage, at the classic.
He and Madonna had a relationship. You know, I don't know how the relationship went, but I'm gonna say when we played for Madonna's Welcome Home 1985, we went to play for her Like a Virgin tour. She finished her first tour. She invited the Go-Go bands up to play. She invited Chuck Brown, E, Randy Boys. We all went on a bus. Max Kid packed us up. But the one thing that stood out when they brought us that nasty ass Kansas fried chicken backstage. When Madonna came in, she said, "Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. I'm looking for the drummer." Well, I was the drummer for Reds the Boys. I immediately stood up. I played the drums for Reds Boys. Not you. I'm looking for you.
You prefer to be called Ice Ross or Costa? All right, we're gonna call him Ice Ross Costa. What position do you play in the band?
I play the bass.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You gonna put the bottom on it?
No.
All right, my man. We have some people knocking at the door, but before we open the door, I just want to make sure where you from.
I'm actually from Maryland.
Is that right? What
Southern
part?
Maryland.
Southern Maryland? Well, you from Browns Road?
Not that far down. Waldo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that was you I saw coming down Route 5. My man's gonna play the bass tonight. Look forward to it. What kind of licks are we looking for tonight?
Oh man, nothing but smooth, jazzy. We gonna break it, man. That's what we do.
You know I'm a bass man myself. I don't know if you can tell. I can't play a lick.
Too cool though, man. You make it every time.
Is that right? I can fake the funk.
Oh dang, that's all you gotta do. A little two-step. Ain't no in my shoe.
Oh, listen. Really?
Little two-step. Ain't much to it.
All right, there it is. Hey folks, I'm getting my bass on. Bubba Grimes, my man Ice. We'll see you in a little bit, man. I can't wait to see you crank.
Let's see if we gonna do it, man.
Be right back, Chuck. Chuck Brown Band. Look, when I want sax, I call Candy Dolphin. But when she's not available, I call Elijah instead. My man Elijah on the sax. Man, how are you?
I'm good.
Elijah, where do you come from? Where were you born and raised?
I was actually born in this county, Silver Spring, Maryland.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Montgomery County.
Montgomery County.
Silver Spring.
Yes, sir.
You went to Einstein?
I went to Einstein. You got it.
See, I've been doing my homework. All right, tell me something. I have a young child who wants to learn to play sax. Tell me what it's from.
Let them listen to a recording of a great sax player.
Like Maceo?
Maceo Park. That's a good way to start.
You know, we just did a show with Maceo.
Oh man.
In New York. Greg was on the set.
Oh yeah, Greg, yeah.
Greg Boyd was on the set. Went to New York to take it. My man Maurice Mighty Mo Higgins, keeping the pocket on the Congos.
Yes,
Welcome,
there,
man.
Thank you, bro.
Good. Where you from?
Washington, D.C.
Which part?
Northwest, southeast.
So he's from all over DC. He I have to announce myself again this time because none of you paying attention to me at this very moment because I'm here with Miss Sweet Sharice. Sweet Sharice, how are you?
Oh, hi.
I'm doing so good.
I play a number of instruments. I mean, I just play keyboards and I sing. That's about it. That's what I mean. I can wiggle.
And you can wiggle it? Okay. So
That's
her
an instrument
so
too.
instrument.
Right, that's
So,
an instrument.
so instruments are playing that body and playing that keyboard. And we're gonna zoom in on you. You're gonna do a lot of vocals tonight as well, right?
Hopefully not on time.
Uh-oh. So
Well, I got to give you a little something, something.
you gonna give us a little Sharice.
Yeah.
Sweet Sharice.
Say yeah.